baseball fans, don't adjust your set, don't change the TV channel, don't go flipping away from YouTube.com. It's the Hangout on NBATV, and Akil's not here, so I got to fill in. I'm sitting here with a wonderful panel of friends and basketball analysts and professional sports people, so I'm going to introduce everybody and then we'll get right into the topics. To my left, Megan Robinson, a reporter for Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Listen to your amazing coverage during the Sochi Olympics.
Thank you.
And just yesterday, I was driving in my car and I heard you break the Matt Molson trade during NHL trade deadline.
That's right.
Great to have you on the couch here.
Thanks,
at NBA TV. John Conway over here is the head goalkeeper coach, Toronto FC Academy. John also played in Major League Soccer for 12 years, won a couple of MLS Cups, played for Toronto FC, and had a decorated high school basketball career in Pennsylvania at Sun Valley.
Yes, Sun Valley High
And
School.
you had I don't know, the competition of your young life playing against Lower Merion and Kobe Bryant. What was that like back in the day?
It was unbelievable. Philly, as you know, is a hotbed of hoops, and at the time, Kobe, Richard Hamilton, and those guys were just lighting it up in Philadelphia. So it was great, and I had an opportunity to play against them.
And after playing against them, you decided to play with soccer.
Stick with soccer.
Yeah, it was soccer after that. No more basketball for John after that. And flanking on the far end of the couch there, Dwayne Sweets Watson, Slam Magazine, TSN 1050, and a huge part of this show, The Hangout. So let's get right into it, guys. We're going to start with LeBron. We always seem to start with LeBron on this show, and you know he is everything in the NBA. So LeBron had 61 points against the Charlotte Bobcats on Monday, and I think the first thing that we need to talk about here is, has the pendulum shifted a little bit in terms of the MVP race? We were talking about Kevin Durant early in the season. He had that run without Westbrook. Now LeBron, is he back to being the lead candidate? Dwayne, you go.
I think LeBron was kind of always the MVP. I mean, Kevin Durant showed some great flashes of great things he did while Westbrook was out, but he is the measure of everything in this league, and I think I'm actually surprised he just scored 61 points in his career, but all 61 points, not one dunk at all. I think he's the MVP guy, and I think he cemented that status for sure.
Megan, how about you? Where do you think we stand in this debate?
I'm the opposite of that. I really think that Durant still holds the lead in terms of the MVP conversation because he's still leading the league in points per game. And right now, Carmelo Anthony is second, and then LeBron James. Sure, LeBron James just had a 61-point game. That's only a few weeks after Carmelo Anthony had a 62-point game also against the Bobcats. So, I mean, you really look at that conversation, and while I agree, you know, he does set the standard for a lot of things, there are still some very, very talented ball players that are still in that conversation, in my opinion, and Durant is one of those guys who's the front runner for sure.
Well, it looks like it's going to go down to the wire this season as to the MVP, as with so much else. Now, John, there was a lot of reaction to this 61-point game, and Dominique Wilkins, one of the late greats, apparently he's taken to Twitter recently, and he had some very interesting comments. So let's start by looking at this one. Watch the film. No closeouts on D. Doubles were late. Rotations were slow. It was too easy to score. At 54 years old, I could drop 40 on that D. John, what do you think about what Dominique had to say? Could he go out there and have scored on Charlotte? And was anyone playing defense in that game?
No defense. 61 points is 61 points. It's still a lot of points in a game, especially at the NBA level, but it brings up a good point. You think LeBron pretty much did whatever he wanted, and I do agree with his comments. As he said, he didn't have to work as hard on the defensive end of the game. You know, for me, Michael Jordan, Kobe dropped 60 plus 5 times each, but during that time they also were assists, there was rebounds, there was blocks, and for me that sets the difference.
Is Dominique kind of sour grapes on this one, Megan?
100%. Listen, I'm no psychologist in this, but it sounds a little bit like jealousy. I mean, one of his tweets was that he said, I was a prime player as well. You know, I was also a freak athlete. And you know what? I get it. When he played, sure, he had a couple of really high-scoring games. He scored 54 points. Yes, he was playing defense. Yes, you know, he was under a lot more pressure to score. But it just sounds like he's a little jealous. I mean, his tweets all kind of said, you know, I don't want to take this offensive accomplishment away from LeBron, but you know what? I think if you're going to say but, it sounds to me like you're being a little jealous.
I will say this, Dominique's comments are what Michael Jordan was thinking, though.
Yeah,
because I know Jordan says right now he could probably go out there, and if he had to play against that Bobcat team, which he's owns. He would drop 60 plus.
The thing that's weird about this is that the Bobcats have had a nice season. They beat the Raptors 3 times, so we know this very well, that they're a competitive team. Do you think Charlotte just laid down that night, or are they even a playoff team, Dwayne?
They are a playoff team, and they beat the Pacers last night, who are the best team in the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, like the old Charlotte team, yeah, it's easy to go out and drop 60 on them, but this is a better team. They got a great, Al Jefferson's working with them, Coach Brown, Budenholzer? I got his name. Yeah.
I don't know.
None of us know. But yeah, they're playing a much better basketball. So, like, I mean, yeah, LeBron got 60 on them, and he is that talent who can do that. I mean, it wasn't like, a third-string guy scored 61 points on them. So, yeah, I think Dominique's a little bitter. He's always been the footnote to Bird and Jordan and Magic. He wasn't quite that star. But, hey, someone taught him how to use Twitter, and he's using his voice.
Twitter, it just keeps making the NBA more and more fantastic. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets, one of maybe the hottest team in the league right now. They've won 13 of their last 15. They've beaten the Clippers recently. And with James Harden there, with Dwight Howard, even though the point guard situation doesn't seem like they have the best backcourt in the league, are they a legitimate contender right now? What's been the key for the Rockets going forward? Let's start with Megan.
Well, I think the first thing will be their matchup against the Pacers on Friday right now. So, yes, they've gone 13 for 15, but can they keep up that momentum and rhythm offensively and defensively when they're playing against the only team so far that's clinched a spot in the postseason? And they just did that last night. So, to be able to see if they have momentum and if they are a legit team, I think we'll find out on Friday.
John, do you think in a playoff series these Rockets could beat San Antonio, could beat Oklahoma City?
I think it'll be tough, but what I do like is that it's a mixed bag other than James and other than Harden and Howard. I mean, you got guys that are picking it up every night and contributing, and it's helping them on this run. So I think that adds to their belief and adds to their possible success in the playoffs.
But can they beat one of these teams? Do they have the defense?
It's going to be hard to see. I mean, but you look at the beginning of the season, everyone was saying, oh, we got to trade for Ryan Anderson. We need to stretch forward to play with Dwight Howard. Terrence Jones has been more than adequate filling in there, and Chandler Parsons having a great season. I think the supporting cast is really doing a good job to help this team in. We'll see. I mean, those are playoff pedigree teams you mentioned, but they can definitely compete in the West this year.
Well, for me, I don't think Hakeem Olajuwon and Kenny Smith are walking through that door. I don't see Houston in that position yet. All right, we're going to take a break on the Hangout, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a great game at Air Canada Centre coming up Friday night. Rudy Gay and the Kings back in Toronto.